What's going on, Keys and Queens? Your boy Byron, CEO of Sunrise Enterprise, and today we are back with another video. Alright man, so today we are going to be talking about the power of failure. And before we get started, man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Right now we almost to 100, you know what I'm saying? So if you're watching this and you haven't joined the family, you know what I'm saying, we got 20 more to go, man, to get us to 100, man. So y'all can support the team, I'll appreciate that, you know. Outside of that, today we have something a little different, man. Today we're in the age of social media, and you know, every time you go on your phone, it's always a highlight of something someone else is doing in their life. And sometimes we compare ourselves. Sometimes we look at our lives and look at other people's lives that we follow, and we think that we're not in the right place, you know what I'm saying? And we think that, you know, we're failures and things hasn't happened for me yet, they haven't taken off yet, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times we don't even be aware of what our destiny is and what we're supposed to tap into and what our purpose is and what life is about. You know, we can have desires and urges to do things, but until the universe and your actions and your desires and everything conspires all in one pot, it's really hard to really identify what your purpose is. You know what I'm saying? You only know that. You know, the GPS the GPS to your destiny is truly within you.
Until you conquer the enemy in yourself, you can't deal with anyone. In order to be used by God, you have to really be used. You know, we always want to be used for the glorious jobs. Let God put me on the stage in front of the people in the Grammy show with a nice dress on. Let me just praise your name. But that's not being used. Sometimes in order to be used, you also have to be humiliated. You know, love is an incredible thing, and we don't know love like we should. We always talk about, I have unconditional love. Unconditional love is, we don't even know it, because if a person stops stimulating us, we stop loving them. We're all trying to get to this next level without, as my brethren says, without the next level finding us. You know, it's like life is peaks and valleys. And some people think some people explain that as good times, bad times, but I actually think it's learning or let's say learning mastership, okay, or study mastership. And that's what you stay stuck on top of one hill, one mountain, when, you know, God's intention is that we study and master a bunch of different things. But, you know, once you're on the top of that mountain, you have to go this way. And then once you learn and you go through that, you are on the top of another one. So I would just encourage everybody, never be afraid of not knowing. Never be afraid of not knowing. You know, find out. Because that's how you get, you know, to mastership. Let's not be mediocre in our greatness. You know what I mean? Like, think big. Think big. And think in doses. Think in experiences. And don't be afraid of experiences that teach you.
As you know, if y'all watching the last episode, Modern Plantation with the NFL, NCAA, organized football, I broke down a little bit of my story. You know what I'm saying? I used to play football, right? But outside of football, I never really learned any skill sets. I never really learned anything. So when I got back home from Chicago from playing football, you know, I was literally back, you know, working a job. And keep in mind, I've never worked a job. I've always played football. So when I was out there, and I actually did construction, I did concrete work. So when I first got out there, you know what I'm saying, I had my mind like, all right, I'm gonna get my money on, you know. But when I got out there, you know what I'm saying, I'm in Florida too. So when I got out there, it was hot, it was muggy, you know what I'm saying, and someone on the team referred to me as a runt, or as a grunt, you know what I'm saying, a grunt. And I got offended, you know, so much offended, so much so that I was about to fight the dude that called me a grunt. So when I called, you know, the dude that gave me the job, which was my coach, shout out to my coach, well, old coach, I ain't fucking with him no more. He was just like, listen, you know, grunt is another word for apprentice. You know, you just have no skill sets right now. And when I learned what grunt meant, I was like, nah, this ain't where I want to be in life. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was, I started my pressure washing business, and I started the detailing business. First I started the detailing, then I went to the pressure washing, And ever since I've started my business, I've been able to do for self, and I've been able to do for myself. I've never had a boss. I'm 26 right now. I haven't had a boss since I was like 19, 20. You know what I'm saying? And it feels good to break free from that plantation. But what a lot of people don't understand is when you start a business, you know, you don't have the right knowledge, you don't know how to break down a profit and loss sheet, nobody never taught you that. You just want to do for yourself. These are things these are missing gaps that's gonna you know, mess you up down the road if you don't have the right people around you to teach you these things. I didn't have them. I had to go through it and learn everything by myself. I'm still learning to this day. It's a lot of things that I still don't know how to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not too ashamed to not expose what I'm not good at, what I'm good at. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got flaws and everybody got strengths. But I said that to say that once we can stay with the game, once we can find out what we're doing, you know what I'm saying, we can tap into something that aligns with what we want to do. A lot of people just get into things and really don't understand why they're getting into it. They're just doing it for a paycheck or, you know what I'm saying, some money or whatever. But a lot of times you trading your time for money is what's the biggest downfall in a lot of people's lives, because you cannot get time back. You can't always go get money back. So what I want to do is I want to talk about failure and how it is necessary, right? And I'm going to talk about how it has a power, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we be scared to fail. A lot of times we doubt ourselves. I doubt myself all the time, you know what I'm saying? But I think once you can get past that doubt, once you can get past those roadblocks within your brain and within yourself, you know what I'm saying, that really determines your character. And you know what I'm saying, striving forward to do what you need to do to make the best out of the situation. So what I did was I took 5 examples of failure that rose to be legends. You know, at least in my eyes. You know, some are real, some aren't, but inspiration and information is what the channel is about. So, you know what I'm saying, if I can give information and inspiration, you know what I'm saying, then I'm fulfilling my purpose. So what I want to do is give y'all 5 good, you know what I'm saying, legends and 5 good examples of failure and the power of it, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Alright, so first one is Tony Montana used to wash dishes. So if you saw the movie Scarface, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning, you know, he came from Cuba. He was an immigrant from Cuba, you know what I'm saying, came to Miami. Boom, whatever he could do, he got into it, you know what I'm saying? Happened to get into washing dishes at a restaurant, boom, until other things started clicking. But he always knew that something better was coming. He always knew that the world belonged to him. He just had to get through a few different ways and obstacles to get there. You know what I'm saying? I think that movie portrays, you know, the true essence of failure, because he wasn't a failure. Like, at the moment, he was going through some shit, but within himself, he was already a millionaire. He was already plotting, and you know what I'm saying, the universe in him was worth millions. But his physical, you know, he was just stacking up dishes, you know what I'm saying? And this is just an example of power. Like, at the end of the movie, he rose to be, you know what I'm saying, bigger than his boss. He had to kill his boss, you know what I'm saying? I feel that Tony Montana and Scarface was a great example, because whatever you're going through in life, you gotta fail. Failure and success is like a pair of shoes, the right and the left. You need both, you know, because failure gives you a different perspective, gives you wisdom, and gives you a different pathway than what you took at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? If you keep taking the wrong shit, you're gonna learn eventually what not to do. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that Tony Montana was a good example for number 1. Number 2, Tupac used to be homeless and was a roadie for Shock G. So when I say homeless, I mean, y'all can go watch my Tupac story on my channel. You know what I'm saying? The rise and fall of Tupac. Y'all can go check that out to really understand what I mean by that. But what I mean by that is, like, he already had his weapons loaded. He was already a great rapper. He just needed to be around great people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what if Tupac never met Shock G? What would he have been? Would he have been a legend? Would he have been immortalized through art, music, and other things that he's done? You know what I'm saying? If he wouldn't have met Shock G, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, a lot of people that you meet in your life, literally are they give you direction to where to go, and they get you through, you know, pathways that you wouldn't even know about. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know, networking and really being good at your craft for you to stand out. You know what I'm saying? For you to be unique, you know. And I think that Tupac was a good example of placing yourself in the right place at the right time, wanting it, because he had to go out and he had to go out and impress some people before the word got around that he was worth listening to for Shock G. So he had to put in that groundwork too, man. And when he got with Shock G, he was carrying bags and he was a backup singer, and for him, he was on at that point. But he always knew that he was gonna be his own boss.
Nigga, if you ain't watched, I'm slowly coming up. I thought you knew. Ask somebody. Ask there. Ask somebody. This how it is. I'm the type of motherfucker that gotta have my own. I got to hustle for my own. And any man out there got to feel me. It ain't about milking off the next man. That's a motherfucking hoe. I'm a motherfucking pimp. I'm finna come up on my own. I'm gonna get my own sack. I don't wanna be nobody worker all my life. I want my own motherfucking kilo. You understand me? So that's what I did. And Shock a hustler, and I'm a hustler, so everybody understand it. Ain't no one man gonna stay in one spot forever. That's a sucker. I'm a hustler. I'm gonna come up. So I took what little bit he gave me and doubled up and doubled up and doubled up, and I've been doubling since. And I'm gonna keep on doubling till these niggas kill me, and that's that. Can I get a blunt?
Number 3. Lucky Luciano was from a poor family plus immigrant, right? So if you know about, you know what I'm saying, the mafioso, the mafia, Italian mafia in New York, then you know about Lucky Luciano. I did a whole episode about this man. I think that he's worth studying, he's worth understanding, going to tap into the documentaries, going to buy the books, going to get the full essence of the human being. Back then, even though it was in the early 1900s, I think he's still worth listening to, as far as like, I'm not listening to, but more so taking and extracting his knowledge and the way he moved and the way he was able to network from different places around all 50 states and was able to build a true enterprise. They literally built a company, you know what I'm saying, a Fortune 500 company that spread on a universal scale.
Charles Lucky Luciano climbed the mob ladder. He organized crime. He became an equal opportunity mob boss. But his creation of a murder-for-hire ring made him one of the deadliest.
Malcolm X used to be old Detroit Red.
How did you get into this?
Well, before I became a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was really was in bad shape. And I know, and this is one of the reasons why I have such strong faith in Mr. Muhammad. I know what he has done for me. Not only me, hundreds of thousands of others just like me.
Well, what kind of bad shape were you in?
Well, I was a typical Negro Christian, which means I got drunk, I lived in nightclubs, gambled.
You think all Negro Christians do this? I have a very good friend who was voted one of the outstanding 10 young men of the country, who is a Negro clergyman, and whom I have great and wonderful respect for.
Excuse me, you'll find many Negroes who don't do this, but I think your
sociologist, a typical Negro Christian.
I think your sociologists blow up the fact that in the Negro community is the most crime, the most dope addiction, the most prostitution, the most juvenile delinquency, and the most mothers, unwed mothers. And this is a curse in our particular society. And I was a part of that. And but after hearing the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was able to pull myself away from it, along with hundreds of thousands of other black people in this country who were in that same trap, who have also pulled themselves from it.
Is it true that you have a prison record?
Definitely. I was in prison for 7 years. It was in prison that I first heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I might add this, that the first year that I was in prison didn't rehabilitate me in any way, shape, or form. The prisons aren't set up to rehabilitate Negroes. They're set up to perpetuate the criminal tendencies of Negroes. And it was only after all of the penologists and sociologists had failed, Mr. Muhammad goes into the prisons and takes men like me and others and is able to straighten them out just by teaching them the truth and restoring their racial consciousness, racial pride, and racial dignity.
whatever you're doing, you just gotta have a passion. You just gotta have something that's, you know what I'm saying, that you would love to do every day. And I'm not talking about playing video games. Now, if you chat Ocho Cinco, then you can play the games. You can play FIFA all day, and you can play, you know what I'm saying, you can get paid to play because you have a brand, you have a audience that's gonna support that shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you living with your mama and you want to start a game setup and you want to start, but you ain't got no money for the setup, you know what I'm saying, that don't make sense, bro. What I'm saying is, get you a hustle, you know what I'm saying, put the money, use the physical money, right, that you got, put it into an asset that makes money, you know what I'm saying, so that way you can make more money with that money that you made from the asset, you feel me, and you ain't got to work as hard, you got to make your money work for you. So, number 5 is Shaka Zulu was abandoned as a young child and he rose to greatness.
Shaka Zulu claimed the throne of a tiny African tribe. He went on to forge one of the greatest empires Africa has ever known. Today, Zululand lies on the east coast of modern South Africa, a land of misty mountains, fertile valleys, and majestic rivers. In 1816, when Shaka Zulu came to power, his people ruled over just 100 square miles. But his ambition had no limits. Building the Zulu nation was an extraordinary achievement. In just over 12 years, his military force had conquered more than 20,000 square miles of land.
He fought against different tribes, so as soon as the tribe gets defeated, then he usually took all the belongings of the tribe, taking the wives, taking the livestock, and putting it under his control.
The way that he rose from being nothing early in his life to being one of the greatest is still standing the test of time even after his death. It's something that we can all take. I hope this gave y'all inspiration and information. I hope y'all like, comment, subscribe, follow the team. I appreciate y'all. One love.